I want to just go through a number of other issues in relation to the report, or in relation to why you're here in front of us this morning. And can I just go back on the key policy areas? And we got a number of replies from you in relation to animal welfare, in relation to the greyhound sector. And in one of your responses, you come back to us and you said Bord na Gan is a commercial state body. It may be set up as a commercial state body, but would you describe it as a commercial state body? Could it exist without the very large subvention that goes to it? I know it's taken in by way of the gambling tax, but I think from memory it's about 50% of their annual their annual accounts or revenue.
Yeah, Deputy, you're right. It couldn't exist without that, and I mean, successive governments have provided funding for it on that precise basis, that the sector couldn't exist without some kind of public subvention. That's correct.
So, I mean, what's the definition of commercial?
Well, it operates on a commercial basis, so it runs commercial enterprises, and the objective is to make those sustainable economically and commercially. Yeah. But it also has this, obviously, there's a public policy remit here, and the judgment was, I presume, from time immemorial, that this made a contribution to rural life and to employment, and therefore it was worth subsidising. Yeah. But commercial in the sense that they run commercial greyhound stadia. Yeah.
Now, they told us that there were only 2 of the stadia. There was a number of them. It was, I can't remember the exact number that were direct, that weren't private, but there was only 2 of them that were commercial. I think the one was in Cork and the other one was Shelbourne Park. They also have falling numbers attending, to the point that they're running early morning race meetings for television audience, and they don't mind if they don't get people in through the door. It's very difficult to see how rural life benefits from that. And I know there's very good and diligent people in this sector, but there's also absolute cowboys in this sector. And we saw some of that in the RTE programme, which was really very difficult to watch. And I think we've been through that before. But they did say that the only 2 that were commercially viable were those 2. But they said if they didn't put up the prize money, that none of them would be commercial. So I think that needs to be rethought about what is commercial. In relation to animal welfare, why is Bord na Gan not the one that has responsibility for it's the coursing club that runs the Studbook? Why is it the coursing club? Why has that not transferred to Bord na Gan? I mean, it's clear that the animal welfare area that you talk about in terms of the policy area, the animal welfare area in relation to Bord na Gan only relates to racing greyhounds. And in actual fact, it's the large number that are retired or who were never in the racing industry because they were too slow, is where the real animal welfare issue is. They're regarded as livestock as opposed to dogs, so they don't come under the responsibility of the the Irish Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, for example. So why is it that there isn't, that the responsibility is in a place that, like the coursing club?
Yeah, well, that's a question that goes back again, Deputy. So the ICC, as I understand it, predated Bord na Gan. It was a private club. When Bord na Gan was established under its legislation, the ICC was subject to its direction, but continued to operate. The ICC doesn't get any funding from the state, and its source of funding is substantially the maintenance of that stud book. So, provided there's a continuing policy disposition to support coursing, you could either subvent it directly from the state or allow it to continue as it is with the stud book, from which it obtains a substantial.
So that's where it gets its income. It doesn't get any funding other than from these 8,000 greyhounds.
I'm sure there are fees and other things as well
that's where its primary,
Yeah.
its primary income comes from.
Yeah, but it doesn't get funding from the state.
Yeah, but it does by virtue of the fact that the state recognises the responsibility it has
For the stud book.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, somebody's mentioned to me as well that it sells a newspaper, the Sporting Press as well. That's another source of income.
That is, given the precarious nature of small newspapers and things like that, that it would surprise me if that was a very large amount of money.